A bag of gold coins. Long, long ago, there lived a farmer. He worked diligently in his field. His hard work paid off with a bumper crop. He sold his crop at the city market for a good profit. He had overall earned 300 gold coins. Being sensible, he returned home with his fortune and buried the treasure in his house. A few days later, he couldn't recollect the value of the coins he had buried. So he decided to count his coins. Inside his house, he closed the door and bolted it. No sooner had he sat down to count, there was a knock on his main door. In a hurry to put back all the coins, he put the entire bag in an empty pot lying on the shelf. He then went to open the door. It was his friend on the outside. The friend had come to ask if the farmer would like to accompany him to the market. He decided to go along and be back by noon. His wife was just returning into the house. He forgot all about the bag of coins. He just told her to keep the lunch ready by noon. His wife promptly went into the kitchen. But she realized that there wasn't much water left for cooking. She took a pot from the shelf and started for the river. But just before stepping out, she realized that her husband would be upset if he found no one home when he returned. As she stood pondering, she saw the village butcher walking by. She called out to him and requested him to fetch water from the river. The butcher was willing to help and took the pot from her. As he walked away towards the river, he heard a clinking sound. He looked into the pot and saw the bag. Inquisitively, he opened the bag and found the gold coins. Later, he forgot all about the water. He thought of giving a big feast to his friends. He put down the pot and went to the market. He purchased a fat goat and was on his way back. It then struck him that openly carrying the bag of gold coins could be risky. He could think of nothing but the goat's innards to hide the coins. So he stuffed the bag down the goat's throat. As he went farther, he met his son. Thinking of some more work, he asked his son to take the goat home. He mentioned to his son that he had bought the goat for 2 gold coins. As the son was going towards his home, he met the farmer and his friend. The farmer happened to like the goat and asked if the butcher's son would sell it for 3 gold coins. The young man thought of the profit and how it would please his father. He agreed and the goat changed hands once again. The farmer reached home. His wife was impressed with the plump goat. The farmer tied it up in his backyard and went in with the thoughts of a fine feast for his friends. However, he realized the pot was missing as soon as he entered. He inquired with his wife. She narrated why and how she had given the pot to the butcher and how he hadn't come back yet. The farmer told her how the pot had the gold coins. He gave up hope of the butcher ever coming back with the pot. He sat down disheartened. His wife consoled him. She believed that nobody could deprive them of what was rightfully theirs. The farmer took heart and decided to sacrifice the goat to invoke God's blessings. He went to his backyard. Within minutes, he came back to the kitchen, clutching his bag of gold coins. The two of them concluded that the butcher must have stuffed it in the goat's throat and the farmer must have bought the same goat from the butcher's son. The farmer realized he had learned his lesson and henceforth decided to carry the money on himself. Next day, the farmer had to go to town for some work. On his way back in the afternoon, he happened to pass by the river. Since it was hot, he thought of taking a dip in the cool river water. He left his bag of gold coins along with his clothes on the bank and went for a swim. A shepherd was passing by. He saw the bag and opened it to find the gold coins. Seeing no one around, He thought it was his lucky day and walked away with it. As he was passing by the village, he saw raiders on horses. Afraid they would snatch his bag of gold coins, he threw the bag down a nearby well. He thought he would come back later for it. Meanwhile, the farmer had just come out of the water, only to realize that he had once again lost his bag of gold. Dejected, he started walking back home. Suddenly, there blew a strong wind. His turban started sailing in the wind. He started chasing his turban and lost his balance on a well's edge. It happened to be the same well, and he found his lost treasure once again. He happily climbed out of the well and went home. The next day at the market, he happened to meet the shepherd who was looking downcast. He inquired, and the shepherd told him how he had lost his bag of gold coins down a well. The farmer was naive. He thought that the bag he had found yesterday was the shepherd's and not his own. He conveyed that to the shepherd. Assuring the shepherd that the bag lost in the well was safe, the farmer invited the shepherd home. He gave back the bag of gold coins to the shepherd. The shepherd realized that the foolish farmer couldn't recognize his own bag of gold coins and walked back to his home with it. That night, the shepherd stuffed all the gold coins from the bag into his staff for safety. The next day, as he was walking by the river, he happened to trip and fall. The staff flew off from his hand and rolled into the river. Before the shepherd could retrieve it, the staff was carried away by the current. On the other side of the river, the farmer happened to be bathing. The current had carried the staff near him. The farmer thought he could have some use of it and decided to take it home. When he reached home, his wife told him that there was no wood in the house for fuel. The farmer had the staff in hand and said he would cut up the staff and use that. When he brought down the axe on the staff, the gold coins scattered around. The farmer and his wife realized that although they had lost their fortune thrice, each time he had regained it back. It strengthened their belief further that nobody can deprive us of what is rightfully ours.